What's up, everybody? Phoenix here again with Author Phoenix Gaming, and to all of you old school Devil May Cry fans out there, I've got some news today that should put a very big smile on your faces, because apparently, in just over a month, Capcom will be not re-release, well, yeah, I guess re-releasing is a decent term for it. They will be releasing a 1080p 60 frames a second remastered edition of Devil May Cry 4. Now, I had not heard a word about this prior to today, or at least today as of me posting this video, but I gotta say, this is fantastic news to me for a couple of reasons. First off, I flat out loved Devil May Cry 4, and the chance to play it again at 1080p 60 frames a second on my Xbox One or PlayStation 4 or PC, to all of you who game on those systems as well. So just having this game out in the world again is great news for me. But then we're also getting, not just the 1080p 60 frames a second, we're also getting a few other goodies. Turbo mode is showing up again, which I believe made its first appearance in the American reboot that you're watching now, DMC, and all it really does is make the game run like 20% faster. But the other mode that we're getting is called Legendary Dark Knight mode, and it basically turns the game into Dynasty Warriors Devil May Cry Edition. Now, this feature was already on the PC version of Devil May Cry 4, so this will be the first chance that really console-exclusive players like myself will be getting to actually experience this mode, and I gotta say, based on the gameplay footage, it looks incredible. Like, I have always kind of had a bit of a soft spot for the Dynasty Warriors games because they were some of, not the first video games I ever played, but some of the first games I played on the PlayStation 2. And so to see sort of that kind of Dynasty Warriors style crowd of enemies mixed with the combat system of Devil May Cry, like, that just screams awesome to me, and I'm super excited that we're going to be able to get to play something like that. If I haven't said it already, the release date for this Devil May Cry 4 special edition is June 23rd, so it's really not all that far away. And all around, I'm thinking this is going to be an amazing thing. And it also has me wondering about the future of the Devil May Cry franchise as a whole, because I'm not gonna lie, even though I personally loved the American reboot that Ninja Theory put together, I thought it not only did it have amazing graphics and the same amazing Devil May Cry gameplay, but I also thought it told the most coherent story out of the entire franchise. And I'm a big story guy. Like, I love it when my games have good stories behind them, and I loved the story here in DMC. I thought it took all the right elements of the lore of the previous games and then sort of remixed them together into a more coherent story. Because I'll be honest, storytelling, at least in a coherent, easily understandable fashion, has not been the hallmark of the Devil May Cry franchise. But that aside, I am well aware of the fact that my love for the American reboot puts me in the minority of Devil May Cry fans. And because of that, I was legitimately worried, much as I personally loved this game, that this game was going to be the death of the franchise. Like, I was not convinced, but very, very, very concerned that as good a game as it was, DMC was going to kill the franchise. And so when I hear that Capcom is re-releasing Devil May Cry 4 and giving it the full sort of 1080p 60 frames a second remaster treatment, it really gets me thinking, is Capcom trying to gauge what version of Devil May Cry will sell better to continue the franchise with? Because, I mean, everybody heard the screaming on the internet when Ninja Theory first unveiled. They gave us sort of their first little teaser trailer of what their Devil May Cry game would look like, and I'm not gonna lie, I won't hide from it. I was also one of those people wondering, what the fuck is this? Now, thankfully, the game turned out a lot better than I was expecting, but, I mean, you had to be deaf to not hear all the fan outcry over Dante's new appearance, his new attitude, just everything about that teaser trailer, and it's a lot of criticism that still survived into the final release of the game. And so that leads me to think that the reason why they're doing this re-release of Devil May Cry 4 is so that, both versions of the game are in the public consciousness again. We can compare and contrast them literally side by side, considering they'll be on the same generation of consoles. And I imagine they'll be watching those sales numbers very, very carefully to see which version of the game ultimately sells more copies. Is it going to be the newer Americanized reboot, or is it going to be the old school Japanese classic version of Devil May Cry that ultimately sells more? And I think that based on those sales figures, they'll choose which direction to ultimately take the franchise out into the future. And keep in mind, this is all just pure speculation on my part. But while we're speculating, let's have a little bit of fun with it. For me personally, I don't think I really care what direction they ultimately choose to go. Like, obviously, with how well I feel DMC set up the world of its version of Devil May Cry, at least, and how well it's open, and how well it opened the door for a sequel. At the same time, Japanese Dante is the Dante that I grew up with. He's the Dante that brought me into this franchise, and I really loved Nero's character as well from Devil May Cry 4. So I also wouldn't be opposed to us getting a legitimate Devil May Cry 5. So for me, at least, one way or the other, this situation is a win-win, provided it does ultimately end with us getting a truly new Devil May Cry game, whether that's DMC 2 or Devil May Cry 5. I really don't care. I'd be happy to see either one. I'd be equally happy to see either one. So that's my 2 cents on this whole situation. I'd love to know what you guys think down in the comments section below, so feel free to write those comments, share your own thoughts, and check back with this channel for a review of the Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition when that finally comes out, because with as big of a Devil May Cry fan as I am, you can bet your ass I'll be getting my hands on this Special Edition. So that is it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you like and subscribe, and as always, I will catch you in the next one. Take care.